Hi features, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. This Thursday I thought we would revisit a JustNoMil mother-in-laws. It's one of the spiciest storytelling series that we have on this channel. It's one of the most unhinged and I feel like it's really useful actually because a number of people that seem to have problems with their mother-in-laws, we could all learn a lot from the issues that people are going through and ideally trying to fix them because nobody wants that. Nobody wants stressful just no mother-in-laws. We want just yes mother-in-laws, right? That's what we want. Just yes mother-in-laws. So without further ado, let's dive into the mother-in-laws. I don't know why I keep saying that. I don't know why. As our first title is writing, if I could kindly ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, that would really help out this channel and, you know, allow me to continue making content for you in the way that I currently do. So, you know, maybe consider that. Ding! Let's go. I asked my mother-in-law to postpone my shower because I've got a serious health issue. She's upset and being pushy. Wait, no, hang on. You Peaches schooled me. I've learnt this. By shower, you're not talking about hygiene, water, doing the washy-washy, which you should probably be doing even if you have a serious health issue, right? Because, you know, like, health, hygiene, health, good friends. You're talking about shower, like baby shower, maybe. Let's read. Let's see. Backstory. I am 30 weeks pregnant. Baby shower. Baby shower. And on my last scan, I had a small ovarian cyst that I was told would not be an issue and would likely disappear. Fast forward to last week, I had severe pain that left me immobile, no, and landed me in the ER, no. Turns out that the cyst has grown to 11 centimeters. That's like what? Maybe this? It's like a third of a ruler. Whoa. Roughly the size of a grapefruit. Yeah, hey, I think that's pretty good. Good for me to be able to like make the little shape, but bad if that is in your body as a cyst. Naughty ovary. How dare you? I actually had an ovary cyst myself. It was not the size of a grapefruit, but it's really bloody painful. I had to have my ovaries flushed and it wasn't a pleasant experience. So I'm so sorry this is happening to you, my love. I'm sending love. I'm glad that they are seeing it and I hope that they're able to sort it in a way that doesn't affect your pregnancy too much. 30 weeks. How many months is this? 24 would be 6. 28 would be 7. Oh wait, so you're like really far on in your pregnancy. Yeah, I really hope this is sorted out in a way that doesn't affect baby too much because that's, you know, you got like a watermelon and a grapefruit at this point. You don't want that. Okay, let's read on. My best friend threw me a baby shower a few weeks ago. I know what that is. And my mother-in-law and sister-in-law wanted to throw me a separate one closer to my due date, which I agreed to a while back. Slightly odd, but you know what? It's fine. Sometimes people do like hen parties with their friends and then another sort of like family-friendly one. I see you. It's all good. I totally appreciate the support and enthusiasm. However, given my current medical condition, oh no, postpone my shower. The title has just clicked in my brain. Oh, let's read on. Given my current medical condition, I asked that the shower be postponed until after the baby is here. Okay, I thought you were going to say that you just didn't want to have it anymore. To be fair, even if you'd said that, I'm not sure if I would be judging you because can you have a shower after the baby's arrived? Yeah, of course you can. But this feels very sensible, right? About to give birth. Hey, possibly going to need big surgery to get rid of grapefruit cyst from body. You know, slightly more important things to prioritize instead of a second baby shower. But let's see. I'm in a lot of pain, says OP. Oh, the cyst is pressing on my pelvic and leg nerves and I'm currently on chair rest and needing a wheelchair to get around because excessive movement can cause the cyst to rupture or twist on my ovary. This sounds so painful, my love. I have an appointment with an OB-GYN tomorrow to go over my options and see if I can safely get my cyst drained before I give birth. However, I know that no matter what happens, I won't be up for another shower. Makes sense, right? Yeah, makes a lot of sense because either you're going to have to be greeting people, which is probably going to involve a lot of standing, likely getting involved in games where you're, I don't know, sniffing nappies and just doing baby shower things, which are adorable, but, you know, not great if you are on chair rest. That means not going to events, not traveling, not being in things like cars, which I'm assuming you're going to have to go to, unless people came to your house, but then also rest. Or you're going to be recovering from a cyst surgery, which is not a great thing to be feeling just before you pop into your second baby shower too. So yeah, postpone the shower. Mother-in-law, says OP, is upset and told me that it wouldn't take any effort on my part. She doesn't understand why it needs to be postponed if her and sister-in-law take care of every detail. All you have to do is show up and you can sit the whole time, says mother-in-law. I told her that the logistics of the venue didn't make it easy to sit the whole time and I'm exhausted and in excruciating pain 99% of the time. So it is an outside venue. You have explained this. Why, mother-in-law? Why? She's being super pushy and asking if I can at least wait until my OBGYN appointment tomorrow to decide for sure, and she wants me to ask my OBGYN what to think. I mean, to be fair, fair, does it really matter what a medical professional is thinking? I don't think it does at this stage. If you are saying, hey, I, as a person about to birth a squish from my orifice, if you don't want to do that, you don't want to do that. Just delay it, dude. I'm a bit turned off because I don't need the extra stress, and at this point I want to tell her to cancel the whole thing. Even if I can have my cyst drained, I'll be recovering from surgery. Maybe it's because she can't get her money back from the venue. Has she told you this? Are you making an assumption? If she's told you this is clearly where it's coming from. Like, if she has voiced that concern enough. But I told my husband that we'll pay for it if it's a big deal. Am I being ungrateful or unreasonable? I do not feel like you are being ungrateful or unreasonable. I had to just check myself. I wasn't sure if I just said ungrapefruit because I was thinking of the size of the cyst. No, I don't think you're being ungrateful, or unreasonable. Look, this makes a lot of sense. You have to be putting your health first, not just for your sake, but also for the sake of your child. And it's not like you're saying you don't want it. You're saying you want to postpone it. However, if the issue is the cost, I can see how postponing it doesn't help. Maybe there's another compromise that can be made. I'm sure if you speak to the venue and just like, hey, look, mum, that this baby shower was supposed to be for is having to go into surgery. Can we rearrange it for another date? I'm sure the venues are going to be flexible where possible, if they're nice and human, and would consider, potentially changing that. But it feels like these conversations haven't even been had. So if it is a cost thing that is being the issue, then just ask the venue, change the venue, or absorb the cost. Because what's more important, the cost of a hall or the serious medical potential repercussions, which is a greater cost than financial costs of yourself, your body, your ovaries, your baby? You don't want any of that to be risked, especially this late in your little pregnancy journey. Not little, big pregnancy journey. It's a big deal. And it's not like you're saying it by choice. It's not like you're saying this because you want it to be cancelled. You didn't plan, you didn't invite the cyst. Do you know what I mean? It's just something that is happening. It's not your fault. Not your fault. If this was an Am I the Drama post, you would totally not be the drama. No. Mother-in-law is just, I think, being a little bit blinkered. And I can kind of see it coming from a place of love. Even if it is to do with the hall, she's just so excited to have been able to do that for you. But really, what mother-in-law should be doing at this point is looking at what you need and listening to what you need, not what she thinks you will want. And it really feels like she's not doing a great job at that right now. If your OB is anything like mine, tell her what's going on and she can send a note to your mill that you can't do it. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you can do this. I'm sure you wouldn't have to lie or in any way extend the truth too much to be able to say that. But I personally wouldn't think that this was the best idea, mostly because I don't think what you should be saying to your mother-in-law and setting the boundaries of as a person, right, is based on what somebody else, an expert opinion, might tell you. If you don't feel like you're up for it, if you don't want to be up for it, considering your current state, it doesn't matter what a professional thinks. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. Autonomy, baby. That's what it's all about. Have hubby take one for the team and have him go, oh, that's a cute idea. Odds are the mother-in-law doesn't really want to celebrate with you anyway. She wants the glory of being a new grandma. I mean, that's a leap. That is an assumption. But regardless of that, if we ignore that part of the comment, I love the idea of the hubby going. Who says that the baby shower has to just be for the mama? Hubby can ham it up, have a great time and take the pressure off of you, and mother-in-law still gets a party that she so desperately wants. That is a really cute idea. And then maybe you can like FaceTime in as well. You can be on a little iPad screen if you are wanting to be in bed and really not wanting to move. That could end up being really cute and a cute little distraction for you too. Ah, yes, this is where like the golden nugget moments come from the internet for me. I love the idea that people can come up with ideas that you may not necessarily think of yourself, and just the power of people coming together can like help make it a bit of a win-win for everyone. I don't know if your mother-in-law would be happy with this, but I see this as a really great way forward. This could be really cute. Oh yay, it's got me all excited. Not ungrateful or unreasonable. They're pressuring you to do something that you're not only uncomfortable with but would also endanger the baby. That makes them the unreasonable ones. I agree. Oh, I feel like that one was quite straightforward. I really hope everything went well, and honestly, if my little like grape-sized cyst, it wasn't grape, it's probably like plum-sized cyst, needed removing, then I'm sure attention had to go towards your grapefruit. And I'm so grateful, no pun intended, that it's been found and that it's being sorted and taken care of. And I really hope that you and your wonderful little squish being brought into the world have had a magical start to that part of the journey. Best of luck. Ooh. It's funny to me that in moments like this, people like mother-in-law can't just be like, yeah, there are more important things in this party that I'm wanting to host. All right, let's see another one. My significant other has said that I need to apologize. Oh, see, this is on JustNoMil, mother-in-law as well, which always makes me feel some kind of way when somebody somebody else is saying that an apology needs to go to somebody that's not them. Do you know what I mean? I can request an apology if you have hurt me. I can choose to apologize if I am the one that has been doing the hurting, you know? But I don't know, it rubs me up the wrong way to be like, now you need to say sorry to this person. Unless you're the mum in a situation you're trying to like learn how social dynamics work. Let's read on. A few weeks ago, I, 29-year-old woman, was under the weather, and so was my little one, 18-year-old boy. So cute. I'm sorry you were unwell though. So we didn't go over to the in-laws' house for dinner. My significant other, a 32-year-old man, went alone. He came back a few hours later and told me that they were discussing our son's development. He said that his parents think that it's my fault that my son isn't speaking yet because I let him play with my 9-year-old sister who has cerebral palsy. What? Their logic is that she can't speak, so it's somehow rubbing off on my son. Do you live together? Oh wait, that's not the point. The reason I'm asking that is that you have a family. You and your husband and your child, by Western stereotype, it would be somewhat unusual if you haven't mentioned it, that you would be living with your sister. So that's what caught me off guard. But at the same time, what? I don't understand. If you are living together and they're spending all time together, I can see that if there is somebody there who is not speaking at all, for whatever reason that might be, how that could then influence somebody else to also not talk. It could encourage them to use non-verbal communication if that's what they're learning to pick up on. It's really cute. Like when dogs loaf like cats if they've been around cats for a really long time, because, you know, we are influenced by the people around us. Assuming that your little one is not only hanging out with your sister, which, again, just by stereotypes, it doesn't feel like an unreasonable assumption to make. For example, you go into the in-laws' house, you're speaking with your child, your husband's speaking to the child. What does it matter? That's really weird. Their logic is that she can't speak, so it's somehow rubbing off on my son. And the way they said it was, it's because she lets him hang out with an R word. No. There was me going through all of these steps to try and like understand some form of logic, and it turns out that they're just assholes. How freaking rude is that? How disgusting. Oh, and these are grandparents who are going to be like having an influence on your little squish. No. Big no. I'm mad. Understandably, I was furious. I'm furious for you, OP. Jeez. My little sister is amazing. She can't speak, but her and my son literally watch TV holding hands. You're watching TV. There are verbal cues on the television. That's adorable, by the way. Like the idea of a tiny 18-month-old and a 9-year-old just like watching telly like la la la. They have such a strong bond. They play together all the time. She's so smart. And they have met her before, so they should 1,000,000% know. Million? 1, 2? Maybe that's 100,000% no. A lot of percent no. Better than say that. You don't need to meet somebody to know not to be rude like that. That is just outright discrimination and is making my blood boil. So I texted them some articles, says OP, I found, which essentially explained that you cannot catch a speech delay. I can't believe that it's being said. I'm so sorry, OP, that you felt a need to justify and teach it in that way to somebody who is clearly just coming from a bad place, but perhaps you're just a better person than I am, because if someone's going to use such horribly inflammatory language, I just wouldn't have time of day for them. This was my text that accompanied the links. Hello, just no mother-in-law. My significant other told me that you're concerned about my little one's speech. I'm hurt that you would insinuate that the cause of the speech delay would be because of my little sister. If anything, them playing together is amazing for his development. The little one's pediatrician isn't concerned at this time, but I appreciate your concern. Please reach out to me if you have any other concerns, but please never blame my young siblings for anything. That right there is A-star kind communication. There are so many ways that you could have said that maybe even would have come across as not fantastic, but in my eyes would have been so reasonable for you to do. But that was very kind of you, and I applaud you. I give you a brownie badge for that text, because I'm not sure I could have been so kind. I'm not gonna lie. She never responded, but the next day my significant other never came home from work. Oh, wait. I just remembered the title of this, and you're saying that your significant other said that you needed to apologize? My blood is boiling some more. Let's read on. He never came home from work. He usually gets home at around 4:30. This was 8 p.m. Ooh, and didn't answer his phone. Ooh. So I texted his mum to see if he was there, and again, no answer. So I called his dad, and he said, my son shouldn't have to answer to any woman. So I explained that I literally just wanted to make sure that he was okay, as I didn't know where he was. His father then said that he didn't know, and that he should be able to come home whenever he pleases, so I hung up. If your husband was there, I don't know if something has like just been triggered within me, or if I'm just feeling particularly spicy, but this would be a serious red flag for me in a relationship. I would be having a serious chat. Even if I had a child at this point, this is not okay. This is really not okay. Where is he? Oh, it turns out the significant other was there, and when he got home at 11 p.m, he explained that he was upset that I had texted that to his mum, and it has hurt her feelings. How does he think you feel? What? And now you have just ignored your wife with a young child for a very long time, and your parents are lying to you when you are concerned about the safety of your immediate family and the other co-parent and the caregiver to your child. Zen, this is not okay. Whoa. Ooh, there's a lot more. Okay, the next day, she texts me the Google definition of a helicopter parent and says that helicopter parenting also stunts development. So instead of acknowledging that she insulted a child, she doubles down and shifts the blame to me. Maybe OP is saying it that way. Like, hey, this is being said and mother-in-law is saying that you're helicoptering the child. I think what mother-in-law is trying to insinuate here is that you are helicopter parenting your husband. But maybe I took that wrong. Anyway, OP continues and says, I texted her to say that I'm sorry for hurting her feelings, but I need some space because my feelings were not being acknowledged. Again, very kind, very reasonable, no text back. When my son walked early, it was of course because of my husband, but now that he's not talking early, it's my fault. I've always been cordial with them, but since my son was born, it's been constant comments like this, belittling me and my parenting. This next part might be controversial, but the next day, my husband's parents adopted a pit bull. She said that it's a lab, but it's obviously not. The last dog was a German Shepherd and he was vicious, like attacking neighbours, biting people, etc. So the fact that they bought a dog that is A, illegal where we live, and B, if trained improperly can be dangerous is a huge concern. I don't know if you're based in the UK, OP. I believe there's a similar rule in the UK. I just think it's really sad that specific dog breeds are being blamed for behaviours that are not to do with breeds, but on the parenting of the dog, if that makes sense. I totally appreciate if there's like bad training history from the parents, and also just considering how bad they are, like the picture that you're painting is very clear that these are people that are not the most reasonable, shall we say. So I'm more inclined to believe what you're saying, especially when you're saying, you know, like the last dog was a German Shepherd that was absolutely vicious, but it's got nothing to do with the fact that it's pit bull, and the fact that it's illegal, I mean, perhaps shows bad judgment in terms of the law. I just think we need to be careful about putting stigma on certain breeds of dogs. I really do truly believe, and from everything that I've read and heard from people who know a lot more about dogs and the pit bull law than I do, it's really about the people, not the dog. But let's continue reading. I bought her a wisdom panel to confirm that it's a lab. They threw it out. So for Easter, I suggested that they come here just until the dog acclimates to its new home. Again, no reply, and they tell husband that we have been uninvited from their Easter, so now he's upset with me as well. I spent Easter with my mum and siblings. This sounds so friggin' messy, dude, so messy. Fast forward to today, they're still not talking to me. I would consider that a blessing. They sound like a hot mess, and I'm not normally one to jump to the conclusions that often you see on forums, which is like, drop them. But seriously, dude, drop them. Whoa. I reached out again and said that they can visit the little one whenever they want. Yesterday, mother-in-law texts my mum and says that OP is playing mind games and doesn't play nice, especially when she's keeping me from my grandson. They also told my husband that they plan on retaliating. My husband said that I can stop all of this by apologizing and bringing the baby to their house, but I really don't feel comfortable with that right now, and I don't know what I'd be apologizing for. I don't know what you'd be apologizing for either. Also, there's a dog there that you don't feel comfortable with, so it feels like a bad parenting move. Do you know what I mean? Should I apologize? Asks OP. If I'm in the wrong in any way, I honestly want to know. I feel like they aren't used to me having boundaries. I used to be very passive until I had my baby, but now I feel like I need to advocate for myself and for his benefit. Thanks in advance. No, you are not. Sorry, this isn't a drama, but still have the badge. You're not the drama, babe. You are absolutely not wrong. I really don't think you should apologize. I don't think there's anything for you to apologize for. If anything, you've been like an absolute perfect model of how someone should be, because even I would have responded in such horrible, well, not horrible, but like horribly petty ways is what I was going to say, that I probably would have caused more fuel to the fire. But you haven't done that. You've been kind. You said sorry to them. You said sorry for hurting your feelings, but you needed space. What is it that they're wanting an apology for? And honestly, more than the just no mother-in-law, this is a big just no husband. Like, what the frick? What are you doing running away to your parents' house, refusing to answer your partner's messages and communications when she's concerned because you haven't come home for hours after you were expected, lying then, and your whole family lying to her, and now saying that she needs to apologize when your parents have been horribly bigoted? I actually can't. I would not accept this from a partner. I would genuinely be really considering my relationship. Does anyone else agree? You have in-laws and a husband problem. Ask yourself if you're okay being told how to raise a kid, if you're okay with your husband jumping through hoops for them and taking their side against you and putting that kid in danger with an untrained dog. If you're okay with that, great, go to the house and apologize. If you're not, you need to stand up for yourself and your defenseless kid, because this isn't going to end well. I honestly totally agree with this. My son shouldn't have to answer to any woman. If my father talked to my wife like that, I would dag him. Honestly, and this is coming from the position of a husband, if somebody spoke to my partner like that, yeah, would I deck them? No comment. I would be very unhappy. Very unhappy. Oh, wow. This makes me upset. This makes me so grumpy. Your husband is a horrible human. How dare he not stand up for you? It's his fault. He should have put up boundaries. I mean, it's not his fault that your kid's not talking, but people develop in different ways at different speeds. We can't all be wonderful at everything. I was having a chat with a parent about this who was saying that often something that they noticed was that kids, little squishes who develop particularly well with motor skills and pick that up quickly, often end up being less developed or develop slower in terms of verbal skills and vice versa. So does it really matter if your child starts speaking properly at the ages of 18 months or 24 months? Does it not matter more that you're growing them up with values that makes them feel like they're in a safe experience and environment for them to be able to explore things like speech and developing their skills? I'm so confused as to why your partner would treat you that way. Why somebody that you have had a baby with would be this childish and immature. Has he always been like this? Is this like the first time that he has acted in this way, or does this consistently come up from the husband when it comes to matters of the mother-in-law or not? Because honestly, the husbands are like super involved with their mother-in-laws. I tell you, that is a different kind of pest control that you need help with. Whoa. Absolutely never apologize and go scorch the earth. What the actual fruitcake, and your husband can decide if he wants to be married to you or his mummy and daddy. I totally agree. I appreciate the shade. I appreciate the spiciness. This is making me feel spicy. This is making me feel spicy. Oh, I'm mad. I'm so mad. I'm so sorry you're going through this. It just is not the kind of stress that you need. I wish nothing but love for you and your child, and I really hope that your husband steps it up, because he absolutely needs to if he's going to be a good caregiver. And I'm just so glad. I'm so glad right now that things like these forums exist so that you can get the advice that you need, because wow. Let's do one more. Hopefully it's going to be, I was going to say hopefully it'll be more wholesome. It's just no mother-in-law, Shaaba. Just no mother-in-law. Mother-in-law constantly touches my stomach whilst I'm pregnant without consent. What is it? Is this a generational divide thing? It's probably a generational divide thing, to be fair. I asked that to be like, I don't understand why mother-in-laws are like this. I kind of understand why mother-in-laws are like this. Doesn't excuse them, but does explain it a little bit. Let's read. Hi everyone. Hello. I love it when people say hello on posts. I find it so awesome. I'm a 23-year-old woman and my husband, a 23-year-old man, are expecting a baby come October this year. Cute. So you're 11 weeks pregnant. Everyone in our family knows that we're pregnant and are very excited for us. Mother-in-law is the most excited according to her. We told our family after our 8-week appointment, since there was a solid confirmation that the baby is healthy, and the rest of the world a week ago. Adorable. Cute. Fine. I knew that mother-in-law would want to start buying things for the baby as soon as we told her, but I reminded her that it was too early at 8 weeks to truly know what to get. Her exact words to me were, "Oh, shut up. I'll buy them whatever I want." And proceeded to touch my belly with both hands and rub, as she said, "My sweet baby," to my belly. Interesting. Okay, let's dig into that phrase a little bit. "Oh, shut up. I'll buy them whatever I want." I can see that seeming really acidic. "Oh, shut up. I'll buy them whatever I want." I could also see that being kind of endearing if the context of that kind of speech is typical for your family network. Like, "Oh, shush you. I'll buy them whatever I want." You know, like as if to be like, "Don't worry. I'm going to spoil this baby so much. I'm going to give them so many things." Do you see what I mean? So I'm trying not to judge too harshly just on that term alone. But I feel like the fact that you've said that and said her exact words, and the fact that you're on this forum in the first place, probably suggests it's more going to be the former than the latter. Oof. Anyway, we continue. Yeah, the my sweet baby thing. I mean, you're 8 weeks pregnant. Sure, there's a tiny baby in there, but you know, there's probably also tacos at this point. Like, it's just food that you are eating, so it kind of feels a little bit weird. I don't know what it is with me in titles. You said, "Constantly touches my stomach whilst I'm pregnant without consent." So if this is making you feel uncomfortable, I can understand why. Are you showing at 8 weeks? I have questions. Let's read on. "It caught me off guard because, well, there's nothing to feel except my bloated stomach. She knows that I have a problem with people touching me in the first place." Red flag. Not the fact that you have problems, oh my goodness, no, but the fact that mother-in-law is doing it. That's only the first instance where this has happened. Okay, so it's been an ongoing thing. We typically see my in-laws once a week, sometimes twice, and my parents the same, so keep that in mind when I say every visit in the next section. Every visit, from learning that we're pregnant, she starts our interaction with touching my belly with both hands and getting eye eye level with my stomach, asking the baby how they're doing. I think it's fine to say it, but if someone has said to you, hey, please can you not do this, it sounds like you also have some sort of loaded history in terms of physical touch, which is absolutely understandable. Somebody should be respecting that full stop, but would only know to do that if a conversation had taken place. Let's read on. Only after she says hi to the baby does she then say hi to husband and then me, which is also a little bit weird because if we're thinking about proximity, the baby is the closest to you. I am the last one on her totem pole. I told my husband to tell her to stop touching me without permission because I'm not a petting zoo. Understandable. He said that he talked to her about it and she didn't realise that it made me uncomfortable. I assumed that the matter was then dropped, but today we met up to watch the solar eclipse. Did anybody see that? It's been big news. Anyway, and I've started showing a little, not much as it can still pass as bloat, and lo and behold, the first thing she does is look around and then touch my belly. I stepped away and pushed her hand to the side. I looked around for my husband and his back was turned to talk with his dad. Is that why she looked around? She touched my belly knowing that he wasn't looking. Oh, the drama. So the husband was right. He did have that conversation because at one point I was just like, did he actually say something? No, it sounds like he did. She heard. She understood the assignment. She checked that the teacher was not looking, and then she did the naughty anyway. Rude. Also, I guess it depends on what the husband said. Did the husband say, I don't feel comfortable with you touching my partner's belly? Or did he go, wife doesn't feel comfortable with you touching her belly? It's probably the first, because if she's like, wait, he's not looking? Belly! Like no one in their right mind would be like, oh, you're uncomfortable? Let me continue touching you anyway. So maybe there's a misunderstanding there. I don't know why I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, because I'm Shaaba. That's what I do. I try and look at things from everybody's points of view. It is very plausible that perhaps that is the case and she has misunderstood. At the same time, it's also equally plausible that she knows exactly what she's doing and that you're uncomfortable and is doing it anyway because she doesn't want to be judged by husband but doesn't care about your opinion. So right now is Schrodinger's belly hands is what I'm trying to say. She touched my belly knowing he wasn't looking. Who does she think she is? I just don't understand how she can address my stomach but not me, and it's starting to make me feel like I'm being used for parts. I can understand that. It's also just like a weird thing to do, right? I get it, wanting to see a baby, but let's be honest, a belly with a baby in it is not the most adorable thing. You don't see the cute little eyes and the cute little toe beans, you just see a belly. And sometimes you see a really stretched out belly. I don't get to the appeal, personally. It's like I'm not a real person, says OP. I understand the excitement more than anyone. My mum's offered to talk with her, but I know that would only make things worse. I've been honest about how I feel with people touching me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Even hugs. I rarely hug my own mother. OP, I'm hearing this and I'm hearing you. Have you spoken to JustNoMil directly about this issue and said, hey, please, JustNoMil, I feel really uncomfortable with you touching my belly. I feel uncomfortable with touch generally. Would you mind just not doing that? Because I feel like that's what's missing here. And if she continues to disrespect it, then of course this is absolutely JustNoMil's problem. But right now, I just feel like it would be really useful to have that conversation yourself. I feel like it needs to come from me saying, do not touch me, but I'm afraid that she'll spin me in a bad light to her family. I can see it now, her saying that I'm not letting her do anything for us or the baby. Gosh, clearly something has happened to make you feel that that's kind of the response that she would have. Maybe that's a you problem. Maybe that's something that she has demonstrated in the past. But either way, I really don't think that it should stop you from being able to assert your own physical boundaries. And I think that especially because you have already opened up to your husband, right, and said, hey, I'm not a fan of this, and husband has had that chat, it would be really difficult for her to spin that in a way where you at least wouldn't have him on your side. Do you see what I mean? I know that's not ideal because the idea of confrontation is not a wonderful thing, and it's such a shame that really, if you think about this like wood from the trees with all sorts of conflict, it really is saddening that in the world people are like, oh gosh, I'm a bit scared to be vulnerable about my feelings because I'm scared about how you're going to weaponize that information, because that's absolutely what's happening here. It should be like, hey, I should be able to tell you things about myself that I'm feeling vulnerable about because I'm feeling some kind of way, and if I'm feeling scared, I feel like you, loved one, are a safe space that I can voice that concern. With someone who's literally going to be looking after you and your baby, because that's, you know, what you expect in family network, is really sad to me that you don't feel able to do that fully. But yes, I do think you should have that chat. My question is, says OP, how do I explicitly tell my mother-in-law to stop touching my pregnant belly, and maybe how do I avoid the physical contact altogether with her? Thank you in advance. My advice would be to have the conversation directly. Perhaps in that moment, perhaps in a way, and this might sound really strategic, I don't know how you feel, Peaches, if you would do a similar thing, but for me it would be saying, hey, you have just touched my belly again. Maybe not like that, but my point is like to do it in a way that makes husband aware in the situation that that has happened again. Maybe like holding mother-in-law's hands because, you know, you've just stepped her aside. Sorry, you don't have physical contact. You don't need to hold hands. But you say, oh my gosh, mother-in-law, I am so sorry, as you walk over to your husband. That was an instinctual reaction for me. I don't know if this has been said to you you. I don't know if a husband, whatever husband's name is, has had this conversation with you directly, but I'm quite uncomfortable with physical touch, and that's something that just takes me aback. I'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't touch my tummy in that way. You'll have plenty of times to hold a little squish when they're out, you know? I just feel like doing it with more people around will, one, keep mother-in-law accountable, but two, also provide you with a support network, especially if your husband is somebody that you feel safe around. Do you have any other ideas? I just feel like that conversation is really important. Let's see what the forum has to say. Next time she rubs your belly, you rub hers. No, this is a terrible idea. One, because I just... Sorry, just the idea of it. I don't think somebody like that would get it. I understand if you find it petty, but if you're like, see, like for like, I feel like a mother-in-law would just be like, but there's no baby in mine. Two, if you're not liking physical touch, this is not the way to end it. To double it does not get rid of the problem. It doubles the problem. Literally tell her, yes, you haven't used your words at all according to the post. Hey, stop touching me, don't touch me. This is a boundary. Exactly this. And it doesn't need to be in a horrible way. Sometimes I think like people worry that being honest and being vulnerable always has to be confrontational. It doesn't need to be received with harshness or criticism, and it also doesn't need to be delivered with harshness or criticism, which is honestly a point that I think even I sometimes really forget, but it is important to try and practice as much as we can, because if we love people, we want to treat them with love, right? We want to always treat them with the words of love and respect, and really what we want to say is, hey, not you're pissing me off, like you're a bad person, but this thing that you're doing is having the adverse reaction to what I'm sure your intention is, so I'm just trying to find a way to communicate that to you so that we can all operate on a level that everyone's happy with. You know, I sound like a hippie, don't I? Do you know what? That basis, call me a hippie if you want to, because that really is the golden nuggets of how communication should work. I had literal strangers do this to me when I was pregnant, says one commenter. Oh my goodness. I would slap their hands as hard as I could and yell, no touching. No mother-in-law. Do not touch. No touchy. It worked and embarrassed the crap out of other people. I highly recommend using it on your Just No mother-in-law. I mean, yeah, this would be the less kind way, right, to say it, but I can see the effectiveness of it, and I feel like this is what you would do in that next step after you've had that one very adult, honest conversation. Wow. So I'm a mother-in-law, diva, entitled grandma, says another commenter. It absolutely blows my mind when I read these posts, and I wouldn't even think of touching my daughter-in-law's pregnant belly. Show her my post. Stay in your lane, lady. You've been told by another grandma, you stay in your belly lane. You don't touch other people's belly lanes. Chop. Take a water gun and spray her as you're saying, no, bad mother-in-law, bad mother-in-law. Slap her hands away and yell at her to stop touching you. Make it loud and clear that you don't want her touching you. Really loud stop or no first, followed by very stern, I'm done being polite, don't effing touch me. You need to make it a huge issue, because if she's willing to boundary stomp by physically assaulting you, then she'll be worse with your baby. You know what? Sometimes I read these posts and I'm like, a bit harsh. Like in here, I'm reading these comments. That is my initial gut reaction, but you don't owe people kindness when they're not being kind to you in these situations. I do think that whilst you don't owe people that, every action has a consequence, and if you are to act as brash as this, it is natural that another fellow human will match that brashness by being like, oh, sorry, why? You know, like this kind of reaction would get my guard up, but I also see that you don't need to not be this way, because at the end of the day, is your physical boundary that is being broken and not respected. So I guess I'm teaching myself in this moment. I'm just being like, hang on, we don't need to be polite about it. If we are not feeling polite, we do need to think about what the potential consequences of not being polite could be, and recognize that perhaps politeness and a kinder delivery may result in better consequences, in the sense that we're trying to maintain a family network here, right? But yes, this is a valid response. Is it the best response? Is it a response that you can do? That's the question. Oh my goodness. Do you have any other ideas, peaches? Please do let me know. Downstairs, get juicy little butts down there. We can continue having the conversation if you would like to. For now though, I'll love you and leave you. This has been a good deep dive. I feel like I have learned a lot from this one. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.